Are you planning to become a pollution refugee?
Well, unfortunately, after so many years of being here in Delhi and trying to fix, and or rather, not fix. Let me not be so ignorant to say that I am fixing it, but contributing to the efforts of fixing it by being in the discussions, by deliberating with policymakers, we found that it is a political economy challenge. It is a combination of both government acting, not acting, and people acting and not acting. And it is a complicated problem. And I think everybody that works, with me has given their time at it. I've given my fair share of time. And after, 14 years of being here and 10 years of actively trying to work on trying to fix it, we are taking a call to, say that Delhi is probably not where we want to be. And we are moving out of Delhi at the end of this monsoon period, right? Because we don't think that it will be fixed in a time frame where it will allow our daughter to actually fully experience what it is like to live in a place where you're not restricted for 3 to 4 months here. And talking of which, I live in an oasis today. I mean, let me be very transparent. I live in a university campus which is devoid of all of the hustle and bustle that Delhi has to offer, not in one of these neighborhoods. It is in its own way a gated community, albeit a university. But I don't have the challenges that the average person probably has in Delhi. And you can imagine if, despite having all of this, a community for my daughter to actually play in and be in, with children and all of it, I'm willing to shed this to take her out of here and put her, through what you talked of, the social impact of, being elsewhere with probably not as many friends, with probably no friends for a while, right? At an age where you're basically, looking for, that friend, at 3 p.m. when you're going down or whatever, right? It is traumatic, but we're having to put her through it and put ourselves through it as a result of, the conditions that Delhi has basically led us to. And I'm hoping that, with the move that we will make, that at least we would have accomplished one aspect of it, which is, breathing cleaner air. And hopefully we have spillover effect on overall health outcomes. And we feel like there was a purpose for us to have done that. Now, whether we can actually get that in any place is, of course, a question. We're still deliberating where that move will be. And I hope that, we'll make a decision that we won't regret. And I hope more people have the liberty and the ability to make such decisions.
I think I'm not sure how to respond to that. What you have shared is actually quite incredible. As a family, I totally understand. And as a father of 2 daughters, I totally understand the concern that you have and why you want to move out of a polluted city like Delhi. But on the other hand, the bigger picture is that, you have been, the ins and outs of this air quality space, the air pollution space. And for you to come to this decision where you think that, things are not likely to improve, at least while you're in these next few years that are critical for your child. I mean, what does that say about air pollution control?
It's a bit of a coin toss from my side as well, right? I mean, as they say, right? In these coin toss experiments, we've been tossing, and each time we've been landing on heads. If heads is basically the pollution event. Now, will it continue to be heads for the next 5 tosses, or will it be tails, in the next toss, which is, let's say, next year, as a result of increased awareness, all of a sudden a wave of action coming in? Is a probabilistic event because it relies on a lot of things coming together of a lot of actors and stakeholders. So I could very well be wrong in imagining that, it is not being fixed. But at the end of the day, as I said, it is a coin toss. Now, I'm seeing that, the opportunity cost of moving out, facing all of these consequences as a result of it, is still better overall, despite the probability, than sort of waiting out here and hoping that the next coin toss will actually result in a tails and flipping the outcomes that Delhi has. So this is not to say that, things will not improve, because at the end of the day, there are many friends, many families who've worked with me, much like yourself, who continue to live here. So this is not me saying, all of you should shun it. Clearly, the hope lies when, hope is there only when people like you continue to live here and struggle for it. With every person exiting, it becomes harder. So for the city's sake, I hope many more people like you and others continue to stay here and talk about it and act. But unfortunately, I think I've done my bit, and I'm hoping that someday, when we do choose to come back to India, and if Delhi is what it is, it will be better. And let's see whether, things are improved and what time frame we improve. I think time will tell. And 2026 certainly has an air of, change about it, right? Whether it's the explicit acknowledgement in the post-pollution season, right? With all of these policies coming in with 6 month ahead preparedness, etc. But it's a large system, right? So that is what basically sows this doubt in my head that, this will be fixed this year or the next year. It's going to be a slow system. And I think once the wheels are in motion, you cannot ask for more. Can you ask it to move faster and faster? There is a limit to it because there are many other issues the country will be grappling with. For instance, the war in Iran. Who knows what that going? If for instance it would even spill over, and if people were to be resorting back to the use of biomass, in a big way, God forbid, in peri-urban areas. Imagine what that will do for air quality later in the year. It will be terrible. So, notwithstanding all the efforts, we know that there are other elements that are also sort of contributing to it. So, given all of this, I think, the overhang that is really there, we felt this was the best decision. And I hope it ends up being a decision that at least will serve us well. But at the same time, we're also, in partnership, in praying for a better equality here and hoping for strength for all of those who will continue to fight the good fight here.
All the best with your plans.